And this session is about Microsoft Teams in the real world, so real world success tips. I'm Tom Arbuthnot, I'm a Principal Solutions Architect at Modality Systems. We're a global partner who focus exclusively on the Microsoft collaboration stack. So grew up with OCS, Lync, Skype for Business. Increasingly these days, the more Microsoft 365, Office 365 stack, and obviously particularly Teams. Carolyn, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Carolyn from Microsoft. I'm a beta technical engineer, and I work with all of our preview customers, and I've been helping them drive their adoption in Teams since the very first release.
Thank you. Yeah, so both of us have been dealing with Teams since the very beginning, dealing with tap customers, dealing with real customers, dealing with a few thousand seats to tens of thousands of seats. So hopefully in this 20 minutes we're going to cover some do's and some don'ts just to help you have a successful Teams deployment in your estate or for your customers. Helps my clicker will work.
Yeah. It's switched.
Oh, there we go. So number one is map your journey. So before you even do anything with Teams actively, you want to understand where you're going, what does your journey look like. And you don't have to map it out to the nth degree to know exactly when, exactly where, but here are some things to look at. So review your Office 365 workloads. Teams is like the front door to Office 365. It takes dependencies on Exchange, on SharePoint, on OneDrive. You need identity sorted out. So if Teams is your first workload for Office 365, consider what else you need to do in Office 365 to make it work. And consider things like how your users use SharePoint and OneDrive today and how that might impact your Teams adoption. Look carefully at all the Teams policies. There are quite a lot of things you can turn on and off. There's Giphies and stickers and guest access and different bits and pieces you can turn on and off at a global level and announce this week increasingly at a user level. So think about how you're going to set up those policies to maximize your success. A big one that we see as an interesting one in customers is decide who can and can't make Teams. So there's two broad options. Do you go down the route of letting everybody create a team and anybody can do anything, or do you go down more of a structured route and let only certain people create teams, or maybe have some kind of process around submitting to create a team? Microsoft's general go to market kind of idea is let everybody create it and it'll be get well adopted. We find in reality there's quite a lot of team sprawl if you're not careful. So think about how you're going to manage those teams, how you're going to help users be successful. Two things as well that are really important early on: plan guest access. So guest access is the ability for external participants, so either from home, so contractors for example, or someone from a different Office 365 tenant to join your teams. Now obviously that means that they can see everything going on in that team. So this is one of those areas where InfoSec and compliance are very important. You don't want to globally enable guest access necessarily, because people start adding people from different companies, from different other tenants, and then InfoSec say, well, you can't be sharing this project with this person or that project with that person. So from day one, understand what guest access does and who you're going to allow to do that and not do that on a team-by-team basis. And finally, plan your client rollouts. And when I'm saying clients, I don't just mean Windows and Mac, I mean mobile as well. So Teams is a really good mobile experience. To maximize your adoption, you really want to be pushing out the Teams client to your Android and your iOS estate, however you manage that.
Right, and to resonate on that, don't think you can adjust on the fly. For example, the example talked about guest access. If you think that you can just change that, let's try it out and see how it goes, that could have a major impact. If you disable guest access, what happens? Right? Can users add people to teams? No. But worse, if they added users to their teams, those users will be removed. So that would have a really bad negative impact. So don't think we'll just figure this out as we go along. We want to make sure that we have all those policies defined ahead of time so that we're setting our users up for success and not failure. And the other big one is the all-in. Everybody can create a team. It's not just about sprawl, it's also about where the data resides and where the conversations take place. So what happens if everybody can create a team is we end up with multiple teams that really should just be one team. And what do? How do we get that back together? The data's not too hard of a story, but right now we don't really have an answer for conversations. So we really don't want to have a fractured group of teams that really should just be one team. So really be sure, again, we want to make sure our users have a very successful experience.
So we've got an idea of where our journey's going, now we're preparing. So the first preparation step, and probably the most important, particularly if you're going to use any meetings or calling, is to assess your network. So the way Microsoft Teams works is it's a client hitting services in Office 365. So thinking about bandwidth, thinking about firewalls, thinking about proxies. There are lots and lots of different Azure services that make Teams work. So you have to make sure that you've got all the right IPs and all the right FQDNs open. But also if you're doing audio and video, so you're doing meetings, for example, make sure your network has the bandwidth to deal with those meetings. Look into network assessment tools. There's a Microsoft free tool, and this week Microsoft are adding a GUI around that tool, so look out for that. There are also partner tools that will do a comprehensive site-to-site and site-to-Office 365 test as well. Roll out your clients and management policies. So it takes some effort usually to get your desktop teams and your mobile teams to roll out the clients. And you want to get ahead of that. You don't want to be launching teams to your business and then, the mobile team need another 2 weeks to set the MDM up and approve it or whatever else. So try and get ahead of the deployment and get the clients rolled out as soon as you can. And user communications. User communications at this stage. So not go live and then send the users comms about when we're moving to Teams or we're using Teams. Start early, drip feed information. And when I say user comms, I don't just mean Teams is coming. It's like, why are we going down this route? Why does the business think this is a good thing to do? Try and drip through business value about the change, not just IT's making a change, but here's your new abilities. Here's how, use some of the Microsoft references. Here's how another company similar to us is doing this. Here's where the benefits are. So you're getting your users excited to pull through the change, not just IT is saying we're doing a new thing.
Right, and don't go live without thoroughly testing, and this means everywhere. We had a large partner deploying Teams, and it was great everywhere except for one of their offices, and that was due to a proxy server that didn't have the proper configurations to allow the users to connect. Their major problem was, we can do one-to-one calling, but meetings don't work, and that's because they weren't able to connect to the meeting service FQDNs and IPs because of a proxy server. So thoroughly test, and test throughout your entire organization. And then don't surprise users with new features. I don't know about you, but the worst experience is getting into an airport car rental, getting into that car that's much newer than the car I have at home, and trying to figure out how to do things like turn on the lights. Oh, who knew they were automatic? So we don't want to surprise our users with new features at the moment in time where they're the most stressed or tired. So be sure that they get that user training in advance.
Yeah, super good tip there, especially if you're using meetings. Users want their meeting to just work, so knowing how things like Mute All works, really important. So starting down your journey, so you've done some preparation. Something to understand is that Teams is one product, but it has different modes it can run in. So depending on which mode you want to use for your set of users or your business, they'll have different features. There's a lot of detail that goes into this. There's some really good documentation on Microsoft. There's some really good change management docs on docs.microsoft.com. But at a high level, there are kind of 4 modes. There's Islands, which is where Skype for Business and Microsoft Teams are completely separate, essentially. So Microsoft Teams has all its functionality. It has group chats and channels. It has private chat. It has meetings, and it has calling. And Skype has the same. That mode is really about evaluating how Teams works. It's not about a permanent situation where I have private chat in 2 products. It's just about testing it out. 3 modes that then you would maybe live with day to day are collaboration mode, which is kind of a scenario where you're just using Teams for channel chat and files. So no private chat, no meetings, no VoIP calling. It's just like a scenario where you're using Teams for chat and files, so text-based collaboration. That can be interesting if you've got a Skype estate, because maybe you're still using Skype for Business for your video calling, for your voice calling, for your meetings, but you have a gap in your business where you need people to collaborate in an async, chat-first, teamwork-centric environment. Stepping it up a level in terms of functionality, you can run collaboration mode and meetings. So now I've enabled the workload to do video meetings, to do desktop sharing meetings, to record those meetings in the cloud, to have PSTN dial into those meetings. So I'm still not doing Teams as my phone system, I'm still not doing Teams for direct private chat, but Teams is now my meeting platform. Watch out for a session on Friday where Microsoft are talking about making Teams meetings and Skype for Business work better together. So there's a session with Francois and Heidi, I think about midday on Friday. Microsoft are moving to a really good model where if you're Skype for Business but you want to take advantage of Teams meetings, there is an option there. And then there is Teams only mode. So that's the full stack of Teams, that's my meetings, my private chat, my text-based collaboration and channels, and that's essentially displacing Skype for Business if you had that in your environment. So think about your users and which mode would suit them best. And carefully consider the pros and cons of each mode. Use the islands mode or evaluation mode for testing really only, and consider the meetings proposition. Meetings have a lot of new abilities. They have plug-inless meeting join, they have cloud-based recording. There is some real upside to doing Teams meetings, even if you're not ready to completely go from Skype for Business to Teams.
Yep.
There we go.
Right. So don't leave your users in islands indefinitely. Going to Aruba is great, but we don't want to live there, perhaps. We want to come back home. The problem with islands for end users is they have to use both clients all the time. Both clients have to run. It is the default mode, and it's that way for a reason, to help people get used to it. But it isn't something you want to be in indefinitely. If you're going to do a short, rapid deploy, then it's probably fine. But if it's a longer haul, maybe not. We have a customer who's moving their users to Teams as part of a Windows 10 refresh. So that's going to be a long haul, right? So what they've chosen is to go with Skype for Business Collab mode for their users that aren't upgraded to Teams. And this will ensure that the users are all happy and not jealous of each other, because, you know, if I'm in islands and you're in Teams only mode, everything's great for you, but for me, I have to run 2 clients all the time, and I never know where that conversation is going to take place. So it's good to get everybody to used to the product. It's good to start out and figure out exactly where you're going, but you don't want to leave people there if it's going to be a long haul.
Yeah, it's definitely not a long haul place to live. We've seen a lot of confusion around that, so good tip there. Identifying users for user adoption. So Teams is a big change, so try and identify groups of users you want to target for user adoption. We recommend starting with either the same business process or the same business group. The thing with Teams is, particularly channel-based working and out loud working, is it is only really successful if an entire business team or process commit to it. If 4 people out of the team are using Teams for out loud working, but 1 person uses email, the whole system breaks down. So don't try and convert your entire business to a new way of working overnight, and maybe it's not even appropriate for every part of the business, but try and find a project or a business unit or a workflow that will benefit from Teams, work on that, make that a success, then move forwards. And start with friendlies. I'm guessing this is a fairly well-worn IT advice, but it bears repeating. Start with someone who wants to have some change, who can see the upside. Don't start with your most difficult users or anything like that. Start with someone who's going to be a success. Use that as a reference to have more success within your business.
And it goes without saying, you don't want to upgrade the boss before the PA. Never a good scenario. I think we've all been in those situations. We want to be sure we identify ahead of time all the various relationships between people, boss, delegate, etc. It's kind of hard to pull back from that kind of a scenario, so we really want to avoid it. And again, don't upgrade your critical users first. You want to make sure you've tested thoroughly. The last thing you want is a C-level person to be joining a meeting, and perhaps they were promising they could do meeting recording, but you actually haven't gotten that in place yet, and it's not available. So make sure you've tested with all your regular users before we start moving the higher level users up?
It's a big change, and this is an interesting topic because sometimes, people will play down. It's like, well, Skype does chat and Teams does chat and everybody knows how to use SMS and WhatsApp. This is not that big a deal, but it is a cultural change, particularly the idea of going from email and that kind of workflow that's fairly private and closed to working in I just share my files, I just share my project status, I just share everything out loud. So think about the cultural change as well as the technical change, and be sensitive to users and make sure you sell the benefits. Don't assume that they understand the upside, and also don't assume that they know how the net business is seeing a benefit. So sometimes an individual user may not see any particular benefit for them. I like what I'm doing today, I get my job done, I have my email filters, my life is good. But if you can explain to them, yeah, but the whole group is X more productive because of this scenario, or we're working increasingly on a global basis and we need to collaborate over different time zones, we need to edit files over different teams across the business, make sure you sell the benefits to those users. It really will help with them dealing with the change.
Right, and don't focus on what Skype does. The team doesn't do. The gap's kind of really shrunk or disappeared. Teams has a great more features and functionality enriched for users. I can remember when I first started reading ebooks, everybody wanted to tell me how much better a book was versus an ebook. And they told me all the things a book could do that an ebook couldn't do. But I could go on forever, okay, about all the things an ebook could do that a book couldn't do. That's what we want to do with Teams. Let's focus on all the really positive aspects, all the great changes. And that goes with management too. I mean, just security and compliance, number one. We have a much better story in Teams. So let's focus on those positive aspects. And of course, don't expect we want to change. I think everybody here is here because we like change. We thrive on change. But, for those users like myself, tired, landing in the airport, trying to figure out how to turn on the lights or the wipers, not everybody's ready for that change. So be sure you're leading with the best foot forward to help them, go through this really big change.
User adoption training, this is absolutely critical, probably more with this kind of user-facing change than many other IT projects. So get the business buy-in that training and user adoption is important. There's no point in setting up lots of different training, classroom training, floor walkers, if the business units and the business leaders in particular are not bought in. So this can take quite a bit of time, and it's back to selling the benefits. If you can get the leader of a business team, the department head, the regional head, whatever it is, to influence their team, to even shoot out a comms to say, guys, this is an important change, it's supporting the wider business goals, please pay attention to this project or this change, that can have a huge influence on the uptake. People follow their direct management and the direct reports, so that is a really big thing to getting the adoption up. Consider that people like different training modalities. Some people might like email comms, some people might like videos, some people might like some kind of SharePoint site or FAQ. There is not a one-size-fits-all when it comes to user adoption. Your job is not done if you put up a SharePoint site that says all the information is there, just go and find it. So think about classroom, think about video on demand, think about floor walking, and also consider that this is going to be a prolonged period of time. It's not a one-hit, we're going to train everybody on Teams on Wednesday and life will be good on Thursday. It's going to be a prolonged project, so user adoption is not a one-time hit. Also, as I talked about earlier, Teams has a lot of different options and a lot of different modes. It's important you communicate how you're setting up Teams. If you're only using collaboration mode to start, communicate what that is and why that is, because the users quite often will go out to things like YouTube and see what Teams can do, and then not understand, well, why can't I schedule meetings? I saw that on the Microsoft training. So get ahead of that conversation and make sure you're communicating. We're using collaboration and meetings, so Skype is still your phone system for the moment, but these are your new abilities in Teams. It will help users not be confused when they see comms that are different to the scenario you've set up for your business.
And don't leave it to end users to take that training. Make sure that you're monitoring, make sure that that they actually have to check in that they've done the training. Make sure we have different options for training. People are in different locations, people learn in different ways. So everybody wants to have their, something that works for them. I might just want to read about it. Other people want to be actually shown hands-on training. And don't leave users guessing, to Tom's point, about how things are going to work for them.
Devices, very, very important. So this is more when you're getting into meetings and when you're getting into calling. So when we say devices, we're talking about USB devices, we're talking about conference room systems, video room systems, we're talking about phones as well. So don't think of devices as just headsets, think about devices as your entire device estate. Understand what's certified for Teams, what will work with Teams and what won't work with Teams. Broadly speaking, the Microsoft IP phones that are certified for Skype for Business Online will work with Microsoft Teams via a gateway, but won't have a lot of new functionality. If you've got things like Cisco phones in your estate, those are not going to work with Microsoft Teams. Think about your video room systems. Do you need a video interop gateway from someone like Polycom or Pexip or BlueJeans to make those two things work? If you don't have those things sorted, they will cause real friction in your users and they'll really impact adoption. And make sure you test devices. Don't just assume things will work, actually go and test them. They may need new firmware, they may need a new route to a new service in the cloud. So go and test this stuff before you migrate users.
And don't assume that users are actually using the devices. Did a big rollout of voice, we started looking at our QoS reports, and we find that we had a lot of problems with echo. Walked through the rooms and found the headsets that we gave out to all the users are sitting on the desk and they're all using their iPod earbuds and their onboard speaker. And they all had a really good reason. The gals didn't want to mess up their hair, and the guys told us it made their head sweat. So don't assume your users are using the devices you deployed, and be sure you're using our call quality metrics to kind of keep an eye on how well your devices are performing. There's a session tomorrow on that, quality in meetings, you should check out.
That was the perfect lead in, thank you. So using the metrics, using the reports, this is really, really important. Microsoft have some really good reporting out of the box. So you can see your usage, you can troubleshoot individual users and their calls and their meetings. Make sure you're measuring usage and you're measuring adoption. The native stuff is worth looking at. There's also some third parties that add value around reporting. So some that come to mind, AvePoint, Quadratech, Modality Systems where I work, we have some reporting products. Check out the different options, but you have to measure the adoption and measure the change. Make sure you get user feedback. And not just sending out user surveys. Like, nobody bothers to fill in a survey, particularly users that are unhappy. They will rarely find the time to fill out a survey. So yes, surveys are a good start, but also get out into the business, spend some time with the users, and use your metrics to understand who you should target for feedback. If someone is not using Teams and you are trying to change them into using it, maybe you have to reach out to them and talk to them. Maybe you need some kind of business analyst role or user adoption role that literally goes and sits down with the PA and spends some time with them understanding what their pain points are and how we drive the change. And adapt your approach based on feedback. So at the start we talked about planning the journey, we talked about user adoption, we talked about planning the change, but you're not going to be able to plan everything to the nth degree and come up with a project that's going to flow exactly as you intended. Keep looking at your metrics, keep looking at usage, keep getting your feedback, and adapt and change that depending on what the requirements of the business are.
And finally, don't assume no news is good news. Don't wait for the tsunami to hit. You've got to get that user feedback. Keep your eye on that, because it's really hard to walk back once the negative attitude is trickled through the entire firm that the product is not a good choice. And you use the user feedback. Use our user feedback to tell us at Microsoft what you'd like to see us do different. If you keep your eye on our user feedback, you'll see that it really does change the direction of where we put our energy and focus based on what you say is the most important asks.
So I hope we provided a bit of value. 20 minutes is not long to get through this quite change, but look at the Microsoft documentation on change management and user adoption. Really appreciate your time. Carolyn and I will be hanging around for a little while afterwards. And if you could please fill in your evals, particularly for the community speakers. Carolyn's in product group, not in marketing. Evals really help Microsoft drive these type of sessions. So really appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
Thank you.